Hello and welcome to Express Drives. Today we have Mr. Velusamy with us, and he is going to tell us a bit about the XUV400 and what is it all about. So first and foremost, this is based on the 300 platform.
Yes.
So what are the changes you have to do, because that's an ICE platform?
Yes. So first of all, the battery is mounted underneath the floor. So the floor has to be made flat, and the around the battery we need to reinforce it so that when there is a side crash, the battery is not crushed and therefore fire accident. So to avoid that, so the sill, as I explained there, it is using the ultra high strength steel, 1500 Newton per millimeter square. That steel is using. So the complete floor is modified to put the battery mounting, the battery cooling systems and heating systems, wiring harness associated with this. In the front end, you need to design it differently because you need to add a third load part.
Yes.
Because you increase the weight from ICE of 1400 kilos to 1560 kilos or so. You increase it to 220 kilos, you increase. Therefore, the crash energy needed in the front structure, you need to add an extra load, and therefore we have added the load for the extra. The motor is the ICE powertrain is removed and the motor we have packaged it. Then you have a whole lot of the charging unit, battery disconnect unit, electric motor, MCU motor control unit, VCU, all of them you have to package it, and the motor has to be cooled, that. So the cooling circuit for that. The cooling circuit for motor, the charger, the battery is one unit that runs, and the cooling circuit for vehicle there is one unit. So these are all the adoptions that you have to do. And the high voltage system is completely separated from the low voltage systems.
So you also spoke about that. Obviously, EVs, they'll have additional weight as well. So what have you done additional for the suspension setup? Because that also is very important.
Yeah. So when the weight increases, then you make the spring stiffer, and then that has a problem with the ride. So you know that MVCTL, multi-valve tuned CL valve, that's for the amplitudes. Then we have frequency dependent damper we have introduced. So the two new technologies we have brought in the suspension system, in the shock absorber. So then you can relax the spring, you can keep the ride, but yet you are able to control the roll of the vehicle, and you are able to handle the high weight.
And the battery itself, 39.4 kilowatt hour. Could you tell us a bit about the battery? Is it made from scratch or was it based on something?
So it's coming from LG Korea, and the battery pack is completely designed using AVL consultant and our in-house, and it's also productionized in China.
So, and
the cell comes from Korea, but rest is model making, battery testing, model testing, everything is done in China.
you, I think, have partnership with LG, right, for that? So one thing we all know that supply chain is a very challenging situation right now, plus semiconductor and all. So what would be a realistic waiting period for a vehicle like this?
So that I will not be able to tell unless we know the demand, and we have secured certain volumes. Let's see what the demand is, and then we can say this volume.
You've also got a class-leading wheelbase, and you've spoken about the advantage of having a more spacious boot space. Has that improved the cabin as well, the interiors?
Interiors, you will see a few cosmetic changes that we have done, not much. So it's a really, the XUV300 is a good cabin. So therefore.
One last question before we let you go. You said the battery pack is indigenous. It's made by Mahindra. Could you just talk a bit about that as well?
So you have you get the cell, then you make models. You pack the cells and you make models, and the models are again put into the battery cavities, and then you have a cooling plate, and you have covers over top of it, and then you have all electrical bus bars connections, positive and negative bus bar connections, cell circuitry, cell temperature and voltage measurement devices that you have. We call it a cell supervisory circuit that you have, that you integrate them, and then you put everything together, you test the battery and then.
So, a lot of tongue twisters, but this is supposed to be the fastest and the most spacious vehicle in the segment. Thank you, sir, so much for taking the time out. Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.